Welcome to the ChargePilot Dashboard. We're glad to have you on board. The homepage is your real-time view of what's happening at your site. The layout looks a little different depending on whether you have one site or multiple sites selected. We'll cover both. When a single site is selected, the homepage gives you a full picture of that site's activity. At the very top, the device status bar shows whether your ChargePilot controller is online, and depending on your setup, may also show the status of other connected assets like an energy management system, a microgrid, or building monitoring integration. This gives you a quick confirmation that everything is connected and communicating as expected. The left panel shows a live power and limits chart. This displays charging power, the total power currently being drawn by all charging points at the site, main limit, the maximum power threshold for the site, shown as a reference line. ChargePilot manages charging automatically to stay within this limit. Depending on your configuration, you may also see total building load if a building meter is connected, giving you a fuller picture of the total site energy consumption. Additional limits may also appear here, for example, from a cost-based optimization schedule or an external energy management system. If charging power appears lower than expected, this is a good place to check what limits may be active. The center panel shows your charging points overview. A donut chart displaying the total number of charging points of the site is broken down by status: available, charging, offline, and other. Secondary or less common statuses are grouped under other. There are two tabs here: Overview and Details. The Overview tab shows the donut chart with the high-level status breakdown. Clicking the Details tab gives you a more granular breakdown, showing individual status categories in greater detail so you can see exactly what's happening across your charging points at a glance. The right panel shows active notifications, alerts for charging points that need attention, such as a station that has gone offline or is reporting a warning. Each notification shows the charging point name and a brief description of the issue. Click Details on any notification to open the full troubleshooting view, which includes the specific error or warning, relevant context, and suggested steps to resolve it. Below the three panels, you'll find the Charging Point Details table, a real-time structured list of every charging point at the site. Here's what you'll find in this table. Charging point, the name of the charging point. These names are fully customizable. You can rename them to match your physical layout, like Lane 12 or Bay 4A, for example, so your team can identify them easily. We'll show you how to rename them in the settings section. Status reflects the current status of each charging point, consistent with what's shown in the Charging Points panel above. Charging Station ID, the hardware identifier for the station, useful for support conversations or cross-referencing with documentation. When a session is actively in progress, you'll see ID name, the identifier used to authorize the session. Depending on your site setup, this could be the name of an RFID card that was scanned, or a vehicle ID if your site uses vehicle-based authorization. Charging power shown in kilowatts, with an indicator of whether the session is AC or DC charging. Energy consumption, the total energy delivered so far in the current session. State of charge, for DC charging sessions, the vehicle's current battery level is shown here, if reported by the vehicle. And plug-in time, the timestamp for when the session started. The table is flexible and can be tailored to your team's needs. Use the column filter icon in the top right of the table to choose which columns are visible and hide what you don't need, focusing on the data that matters to you. Use the row count dropdown in the bottom left corner to control how many charging points are shown per page. Columns with sort arrows can be clicked to sort, helpful for quickly finding active sessions, offline stations, or sorting by energy consumption. If you have user or admin access, you can take action directly from this table using the menu on the right side of each row. Remote start. To start a session remotely, select the charging point, then choose the ID you want to use to authorize the session. For example, an RFID card registered at the site. Selecting an ID is required to initiate a remote start. Remote stop. To end an active session, select the charging point and choose the stop option. Restart a charger. If a charger needs to be rebooted, you can do that remotely from here without physically accessing the hardware. When multiple sites are selected, the homepage switches to a multi-site summary view. The layout is similar, but the data is aggregated across all sites. The device status bar shows the total number of controllers online across all sites. When multiple sites are selected, the homepage switches to a multi-site summary view. The layout is similar, but the data is aggregated across all selected sites. The device status bar shows the total number of controllers online across all sites. The charging power chart shows combined power across all sites. Note that the main limit line is not shown in this view, as limits are site-specific. The charging points donut reflects the combined total across all sites. The notification panel shows alerts from all sites with a site name label added to each notification so you know which location it's coming from. Instead of the charging point details table, you'll see a site details table listing each site with its controller status, current charging power, total power, and color-coded charging point status summary. If you're ready to drill into the details of a specific site, there's no need to manually pick that site from the site selector. Simply click the arrow on any row to navigate directly to that site's detailed view.